Hey guys, welcome back to Inverted Adventures RC. I'm Richard, and today is going to be the first part of the series for this beautiful thing. I just got this FMS P-51B Mustang in a large lot of stuff I bought from a gentleman who's cleaning out his dad's estate. I guess his dad was pretty big into airplanes. I got quite a few kits, kind of a whole van load pretty much. I'm not keeping it all. We all wish we could keep everything we bought like that, but you can't. It just doesn't work like that. So I got a little GB that's in the background over there, a Predator drone, which is also in the background there. There'll be some videos on that as I put that together, and a P-51D Mustang that's, I would say, probably 3/4 of the way built. It's mostly assembled. It's getting close to getting painted, and it just needs a little bit of work here and there. I have a different engine idea, I guess, than what he had in mind, so some of the cowling needs taken care of and just some little setup stuff, but it's pretty much all built. So keeping that one because he actually was going to throw it in the trash, and he said, "Do you want this? If you don't, I'm going to throw it away." And I said, "Heck yeah, I'm not going to let you just chuck that. If nothing else, I'll get rid of it if I decide it's too big of a project, but we're going to keep it." So we got that, and this box was a little beat up and water damaged, and I was kind of a little leery, but you get inside and all the foam inside is nice and packed and not wet. So I open it up, and I've always had a thing. Everybody loves the P-51D Mustang with the bubble canopy, and I mean, that's just an iconic plane, especially from World War II. I love the fastback look of the 51B. Now the box art on this is a little different. This is the Dallas Darling. This one is the Shangri-La, I believe it's called. Yeah, it says right on the side. So that is red nose with a little bit of checkerboard. I personally like that one a little bit better than the blue, but to each their own. There's actually a couple different versions of this, I think. I believe this kit is discontinued. It's the 1450 millimeter, so that's like 56 or 57 inch wingspan. It's going to be 4S. It's already got the motor installed. This is just a plug and play. I'm going to have to yank a receiver out of something else because I don't have an extra one right now. But throw a receiver in it, put a 4S battery in it, and tear up the skies. So I'm going to dive right in here and start putting stuff together and hopefully get this thing together pretty quickly. I believe the instructions say it's about an hour to assemble, so it'll be like a 3 or 4 part video, and then probably another video once I'm done assembling it of testing all the control surfaces and getting it set up on my Spectrum DX6E transmitter. So if you guys want to stick around and check this thing out, watch how easy this is to put together, and then how cool it is once it's done, stay tuned. I am not usually one to use instructions, but I don't want to screw this up, so we're going to use the instructions. It gives you a pretty good detailed description. Some of these, I shouldn't say some of these kits. I've seen some kits online. I haven't personally had any that have this problem, but well, looking ahead to that Predator drone, the instructions are just some pictures and no descriptions, and the pictures even suck. So looking at this, it's a pretty good set of instructions. This is the first FMS plane I'm going to put together. Hopefully they're all like this. If that's the case, it is a nice booklet they give you. The first thing they want you to do is get the rudder put together. Before we do that, I would just like to jump into some of these parts. The detailing on these parts is very nice. The paint color is good. It's not just cheap, crappy foam. They are, they look like they're pretty good. I like that they at least attempted to match the tape for the servo wiring and all that kind of stuff. So it looks cleaner than it could. Some of these cheaper China specials, and actually even looks like it's got lights on the wingtip. That's pretty sweet if that all works. I don't really know anything about it. I just opened the box like 2 days ago and saw it, and I thought, I can't get rid of this. I got to keep this one. So it's got retracts. The canopy detail is pretty nice and the cockpit, all that stuff is pretty nice for an ARF, I think. But you know, it comes with all these little stickers, tells you where not to step and all that stuff. So get into that later. But first, they want you to put the control surfaces on the rudder and the elevator. Or yeah, the control surface, the servo horns. Pardon my stupidity there. And it's nice they even labeled the little bags so that you're not just grabbing random parts. It's got flaps I think this is going to be sweet. Flaps, retracts, lights, all that kind of stuff, and just the fact that it's plug and play. I'm pretty excited about this thing. So they even gave you a little screwdriver, which really surprised me. So first things first, elevator control surfaces, or servo horns. And it tells you there's two screws, or two different size screws. So make sure that's facing the right direction. Just going to set that on there, like that, towards the front. And make sure it's on the right spot, because it's supposed to go on the bottom, it's not supposed to go on the top. And then the longer screws are always located towards the leading edge of the control surface. I did not know that. That is news to me. I guess that makes sense because it's thicker. But not everything that makes sense is the way it's supposed to be. But in this case it is. So, we're going to put that on there. And I'm going to put this on here so that it'll actually screw into something. Put this in this other hole. Put this in that hole. I have never used these pinch style where you run it into the plastic on the other side. But I think I like this design. That way there's always a nice good backer there. Just hold that on there, run the screws in with the provided screwdriver. Hold that up there so you guys can see what I'm doing. Just run that in. So on the bottom half there's a horn, right there. And on the top half, just that little plastic. And that's what your screws bite into. Obviously they're not going to bite into the foam. I mean, they probably would very loosely, but that wouldn't last very long, and that probably wouldn't result in a very nice flight. Alright, so we'll get that screwed together. I guess we'll clamp that down there pretty tight. I don't know how tight they want you to make that, but I don't want it to come out of there. And I guess you're only supposed to use two. That's just what they show. So there we have it. There's the control horn for our elevator. That is all ready to go. Now, jump right into the next one. They want you to do the rudder. So same thing with the rudder. Take your little rudder horn. I'm surprised they give you 4 screws, but they only have 2 holes they want to use. Maybe I'll run those other ones in later. But for now, you want that. Attach the rudder control surface on the port side of the rudder. That would be the driver's side in my industry. And that piece is going to go in there like that. So we want to use this hole and this hole. When I'm done with this, I'm going to have way too many Mustangs. I already have a Miss America Mustang hanging back there. You can probably see it right there. And like I said, I'm working on that other House of Balsa P-51D. But they're going to be different. The Miss America obviously has that beautiful red, white, and blue paint scheme on it. That was an ARF. I did not build that. I wish I could build like that. The P-51D that I'm working on, that was the project I talked about earlier, that is going to be in the Candyman paint scheme, which I don't know if that was an air show plane or what that is. I have not done any research on the Candyman, but the box is old. I mean, it's like an 80s kit, but it has all the decals in it, and they're in really nice shape. They're not all falling apart or yellowed or anything like that. So I think, because I'm going to have this cool military style and I have the red, white, and blue, I think we're going to go with the red and white Candyman paint scheme on that one. So they'll all be different. So it's not like I have a whole bunch of the same exact plane. So there we are with that. That is installed, and they are both ready to go. Now, I think they want us to jump to the ailerons and do the control horns on that. So if that's the case, we will skip ahead in the video because I don't want to let you guys watch me put a whole bunch of control horns on. So we will be back short. Alright, so we'll check back in here. I have the ailerons done. And there's the other side. So now we are going to move on to the flaps. So I will be right back with the flap control horns into the control surfaces, and then we will move on to the next steps. Alright, so now that I have all the control horns on the control surfaces, after I had to take a couple back apart because I put the backing plate on backwards, but figured that out. So flaps, ailerons, rudder, elevator, that's all put together. Next they want you to join the two wing halves with these tubes here, and it should be as simple as just sliding that in there. At least that's what the instructions say. Oh, is the bend part supposed to be facing? Oh, it's going to be facing up because we have some dihedral here. Okay, so slide that tube in there. Slide that tube in there. Make sure that one lines up and they're going together. We can get that. Ooh, there we go. So they go together. Then you just have to make sure none of your wiring gets in between these as you go together, or your wing halves will not go together completely. So, oops, just like that. Get that out of the way. There. Now, I guess that is what they call together all the way. I'm not really sure. Oh, I guess there's going to be some pieces that we screw in to hold these together. But there is our wing. We got flaps on both sides, ailerons. I'm excited. This is coming together nicely, and there's some drop tanks on here, and like I said, we've got retracts down here with the doors are supposed to operate in sequence there, so this should all be pretty cool. Now the next step they want you to do is test all this to make sure it all works, and probably to center the servos for the wings and the flaps, or the ailerons and the flaps, before you put the control or the connecting rods in. So I'm going to call it quits here for this video. This will be part 1. I might keep shooting tonight and start part 2, but this is going to be the end of this video. So if you want to stick around and see me test the wing out, set up the control surfaces on here, and move on to whatever the directions say next. I really haven't read ahead. I'm just kind of going along as I make the video. So we're going to end it here, and drop a subscription, like, leave a comment. If you have one of these, I would love to know how you like it, if it flies nice, if you had any problems, if there's anything I should look out for. I'd appreciate leaving a comment for that. And like I said, subscribe and follow the channel. And I also have a Facebook page that I kind of post updates a lot more than I do. I don't always have time to make a video and edit it and all that stuff, but I can always throw a picture on or throw just a 30-second video while I'm working in the shop. So there is a Facebook page under the same name, Inverted Adventures RC, and I do post there. But stick around and we will continue this build. Until next time, guys, it's Richard from Inverted Adventures.